Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping and wholesaling houses in New York. And if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So I get a lot of questions from people that say, I want to do driving for dollars. It seems like a great thing. I saw a video from Deal Machine or some of this other company, SendFuse, or all these companies that do driving for dollars. And they're telling me that if I just drive around and find shitty properties, some of them are going to be people who want to sell. So the answer is, it can work. It's a little more complicated in New York, and I think I know why. It took me a while to figure out why. But here's the important part of it. The important part of it is you must, before you spend any money to find the owner or do anything like that, you must do your research online. So the easiest way by far is PropStream, which you can do on any property. If you don't have PropStream, certainly in the 5 boroughs, you can use Acris, A-C-R-I-S. You can just Google Acris and then find the property. And I've done videos on how to look up properties in 5 boroughs. If you're in Nassau, it's very easy. It's mynassauproperty.com, where you'll find out the section, block, and lot. And then you can go to, what the hell is the website? I've done these too. Come on, I know the website. It's uslandrecords.com and look up Nassau. So you can do the whole state. Now, in Suffolk, it's a pain in the ass because you have to get the 19-digit Suffolk County tax number from the Suffolk County clerk site, and then you have to go into each town's website, and some are complicated, like Smithtown's very hard. A lot of them don't give you all the information, some do. Suffolk's harder. For Suffolk, you probably need PropStream. You have to look up. Now, what are you looking for? You're looking for recent deed changes, right? You're looking for a deed change to an investor. You're looking for deed changes to a bank. You're looking for list pendants, which means the property went into foreclosure. How long ago? How much did it go for? Those things are going to tell you, because a majority of the properties in New York that look like crap or are, condemned fall into one of 4 categories, all of which, in my opinion, doesn't. If anything falls into these categories, you probably shouldn't even work on it. The first is that it's a reverse mortgage, very common, right? It was a reverse mortgage holder, people died or moved out, and now it's going to be bank owned at some point in foreclosure. The reason why reverse mortgages are probably not worth your effort is because it's very hard to find out what the balance is. I'm one of the few people, I think, alive who understand how a reverse mortgage works, but you need to understand that whatever amount was recorded is not necessarily what they owe. The way it worked when we did reverse mortgages, we used to record 150% of whatever was maximum available. So if there was a $400,000 available to them, we used to record a mortgage for $600,000. So, but they didn't need to take the $400,000. They might have taken $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000. So the balance on that can be significantly less, or it can be significantly more, because the way a reverse mortgage works is interest is accruing on the interest all the time. So if they did max out and it took $400,000 and it's 10 years later, they owe double that. So it's hard to even figure out what the balance is. The servicers won't talk to you. They're only going to talk to the borrower or the borrower's heirs that they verify. And it's really like a rabbit hole that you get into. It's very hard. That's first category. Second category is something that's way underwater, right? So you see a list pendants 10 years ago for $500,000. That's going to be $1 million now. If you could only pay $300,000 for that house is way underwater. Now, you may want to get into the short sale game and start trying to negotiate down with the lender, but you need to understand. On these properties, you have the obstacle of finding out who the hell, getting in touch with somebody who owns it, right? It's not always so simple. Sometimes you can't find them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're dead. Sometimes they live 1 million miles away. It's complicated. Then when you get in touch with them, you then need their authorization to go find out if the lender will accept the lower amount. So I think if it's way underwater or if it's a reverse mortgage, it's not worth your time. Again, because of multiple obstacles, right? We all deal with obstacles, right? Every time. Even if I find a seller who tells me they want to sell, there's still obstacles. I got to see what price they'll sell. I got to see what number I can buy it for. And here you have multiple obstacles to get to see if it's a deal. Those two, to me, are possible deals, but very unlikely, and to me, in my opinion, not worth my time. The third category is bank owned, right? The bank took possession at the auction, right? The way the auctions work is the plaintiff, which is the lender, goes up there and gives an upset price. That's the lowest they'll take. Sometimes that's more than any investor will take, and most properties end up going back to the plaintiff. Once the bank owns it, it's not a deal. People think, I can go negotiate with the bank. It's not going to work. They're not going to negotiate with you unless you're buying a huge pool of loans. Even then, they may not negotiate with you. So my advice is to stay away from anything that's recently bank owned. And the fourth category, which shows up a lot, is it's already investor bought. So the bank sold it to an investor, either at auction or later or whatever. The guy knew somebody. Then it's gone, right? The investor wants to make the money. So if it falls into any one of those four categories, I think it's a waste of your time. And I think the reason why in New York a lot of properties fall into those categories is because a crazy amount of time that a foreclosure takes. So if you're in a normal state, let's say an extreme state like Texas, where foreclosures take 45 days, if something's in a shitty condition and nobody's paying the taxes on it, you better hurry up, because that guy's going to lose all the equity, if he has any equity, on the property right away. But in New York, most people just give up, right? Oh, my grandfather's house. You'll hear all the time, the bank owns that house, I signed it away. Something stupid like that. Now, you can't argue with somebody. You can tell them, listen, what I have said to people is, listen, I don't know why, but the bank doesn't own the house. And I think you have an opportunity to make some money, and you might go forward. So you can try that, but only if it doesn't fall into any of those four categories. So you're looking, when you look on PropStream, or you look on Acris, or you look on U.S. Land Records in Nassau County, you're looking for a recent deed, or you're looking for a list pendants, which is when the foreclosure was filed from a long time ago, and the amount that it was filed for, right? If it was a $10,000 list pendants, and even if it was 10 years ago, then it's probably only going to be $20,000, $30,000. But if it's a lot more than you can pay, and it was filed a long time ago, interest has been accruing on that, taxes the lender's been paying are accruing on that, legal fees are accruing, and then it's going to be a huge deal way underwater. And as I discussed, I don't think that's worth your time. So those are the things you're looking for. And I remember, so the Deal Machine came out with a thing that said 600 properties will get you a deal. So I had people going out, and I got like 600-700 properties, and not one of them was a deal. Every single one of the properties fell into one of those four categories. Every single one. Then I met a Deal Machine guy recently, a couple of years later. I'm like, is it really 600? He goes, it's only 600 if the ARV is $100,000 or less. If you're an ARV of $400,000 or more, you need like 1,600. So I may have cut off too soon when I did it, but you've got to understand, you got to kiss a lot of frogs. It's just like finding sellers. Most of these properties are not going to be deals. You can find a deal, and it could be a home run deal, right? A home run deal to me is where you're making at least $100,000. It could be a home run deal, because if you find an heir who says, yeah, I want to sell, and they don't owe a lot of money, and you say, well, if I give you $10,000 after I pay everything off, are you going to accept it? They say, yes, you could make a fortune on it. It's possible. But you've got to understand, those are few and far between in New York. A lot of people, it just, the numbers don't make a lot of sense. And a lot of these other parts of the country where the ARVs, the after repaired values, are $100,000, a lot of people buy properties free and clear, or they own properties with very small mortgages. But in our areas, they're big mortgages, and the interest accrues on them faster, and interest accrues on the interest, especially on a reverse mortgage, and a lot of these deals don't work out. So you need to understand what you're dealing with here. And because the foreclosures take a long time, a lot of people give up on them, but there's so much crap showing up legally that they're hard to do. So do I recommend you do driving for dollars? No, I don't. I really think you're much better off getting lists of sellers who are likely to sell, and to call them, text them when you're starting. If you have the money, then mail them. But that is a better way to go. When you're dealing with a seller, you have that conversation, and if it's a deal, you'll it may not be a deal now, maybe a deal later, but at least you're talking to the decision maker. If you have to deal with all this crap on a dime for dollars a year, where you can't find the seller, where you need to find the balance of the mortgage because you're not even sure if it's a deal, you're spending a lot of time doing things that are unlikely to lead to profit. So I don't recommend you do driving for dollars. I know people do driving for dollars. It's very often an exercise in futility. You're much better off talking to someone who owns a house, who's thinking about selling. And even if they want too much money, staying in touch with them, because you hope that their circumstance will change, or the motivation will change to the point where they'll sell it to you at a discount, if they have some kind of real motivation to not, list it with an agent, that kind of thing. So that is what my thoughts on driving for dollars. I get questions about it all the time. I really appreciate all the questions you've been giving me. And in general, if you're interested, I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization. A lot more people have been watching my videos lately, and I appreciate a lot of people for clicking like. That's been helpful. I guess it's Google's algorithm or Facebook's algorithm, so thank you for that. And I post 5 times a week, and I don't always know what to say. I really sometimes draw a complete blank. So your comments really, really come in handy. So I ask you to make any comment, any question you want answered. Does not even have to be about the video you're watching. I check my questions and comments almost every day, certainly within 48 hours. And if it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered before, I'll send links to a video or videos. Yesterday I sent out a link to a few videos. Someone was asking me about getting licensed, and I've done a lot of videos on that. getting a real estate license. And if it's something new, or something I haven't covered in a while, I'll do a new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching. Please keep the comments coming. Thank you again.